Okay, so the reason I'm doing this in Firefox Developer Edition and not Safari is that Developer Edition comes with this screenshot feature. And the screenshot feature is really handy. What it does is it takes a full web page screenshot, or a screenshot of your web page. So not just a screenshot of your screen, but a screenshot of the entire page, which is really useful for this next part that we're going to do. Okay, you don't have to do this step in this project. This is just, it makes it easy to like pick the colors, because you need to rebuild this page in XD in order to then make your other pages. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to rebuild this page. So instead of having it open in the browser and then going back and forth between XD, I'm just going to put this image in XD and use it for colors and layout and all that junk. Does that make sense to everybody? Kind of what I'm doing? All right, so if you want, you can download Developer Edition and use that feature. Safari, unfortunately, doesn't have.
Are you recording this?
Yes. Safari doesn't have a feature like that. There might be an extension. What's up, Maggie? Hi. It's okay. You've been immortalized as coming in late because I'm recording right now. Let the record show. Full page screenshot. I don't know if there's a way to do it. Oh. Huh. Huh. So I wonder if you could do that then. So it says you should be able to export it. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, it's paginated though. Yeah. So I guess you could do it there and maybe like export both of these as one. I don't know. You could do it that way too, I guess, in Safari. It's a little annoying that it does the page thing though. It's easier in Firefox Developer Edition. So if you want to do that way, you can. So once you have XD open, we're going to be building a web. There, if you click on this drop down here, like where it says Web 1920, it'll give you 3 different sizes. Depending on the resolution of your machine and how you're working, you're gonna have different sizes. That's another reason why I took the screenshot of the web page we'd already built, because I'm gonna use that to kind of make my get my size right, get my template size right. 1366 is the middle of the road. That's a good choice. Just click on that. It gives you an artboard. So XD is like any other Adobe program. It's a little different because they built it from scratch. It's not built on top of 25 years of old code like Photoshop and Illustrator. But it has some common user interface elements. We've got a toolbar on the left. Down here at the very, very bottom left, layers. This is a symbol library. Symbols are just when you can group a bunch of stuff together and save them as like templates, essentially, to reuse really easily when building prototypes and stuff. Really simple tools, shape tools, line tool, pen tool, text tool. This is an artboard tool, and that's a zoom tool. We'll just zoom in on, you can drag a box and it'll zoom in, or you can click, whatever. You can alternatively, option, mouse wheel. Spacebar gives you a hand. All your same kind of keyboard shortcuts apply. So like V is the selector, etc. You've got 2 different modes. Oops. Screensaver mode. You got 2 different modes. I have screensaver set to that hotspot. Design and prototype. So when you're first drawing it out and laying out everything, you're going to be working in design. Okay. Later on, when you need to go and make it so that you can click on stuff and have it jump from page to page and do other things, then you go into prototype mode, and I'll show you that here in a few minutes. Over on the right, up here at this options bar, zoom level, you can pair your phone with XD so that you can preview stuff that you're working on your phone. It's really handy. This is how you do a desktop preview. You start the desktop preview, and then sharing this online because everybody on Facebook wants to know what you're working on. I don't think it's specifically Facebook, but anyway. That's so you can share it with people that are, you're working with. These are your align tools. Very useful. Use them. Make sure things are lined up. Make sure things are centered. Make sure things, it's just like what we talk about with spacing and grids and everything. If you can make things look like they line up and they all belong together, then like there's an internal structure to how elements are laid out in a composition, it's going to look good. It's going to look nice. This repeat grid, we're going to talk about this. This is a little bit of XD magic. It's a lot of fun. These are Pathfinder tools for making vector objects. You can play around with that. This gives you width and height and then XY position. The XY position starts at the top left. All right, so 0, 0, and the X and the Y is this top left corner. And that's standard across all screens. If you're working on a screen and you're like programming or anything, this top left corner of your screen is always X. Yeah, right there. Is always 0, 0. Okay. And then appearance. The options over here are going to change according to what you have. And we'll see that here in a minute. All right, I'm going to pull that screenshot in. Just drag it and drop it. Hey, it's pretty big. Whoa. Oh, that's right, because I have a Retina screen. I forgot. All right, so if you're working on a something with a Retina screen, don't worry about making your artboard as big as the image you pull in. If you're doing it this way, you can just scale it down. I'm just gonna scale that down real quick. There'll be a lot of like auto snapping and auto positioning stuff, like smart guides showing up. There we go. All right. So you see, I clicked right away. I clicked, and if I go into preview mode, it's not letting me scroll down. That's because it's masking out the rest of the content just on that size of the artboard. It's not what we want. This is a live preview, by the way. It's that if I hit play, it gives me a live preview of whatever I've done, so I can click on it and stuff. If you want to be able to see the rest, oops, come here. You want to be able to see the rest of the content, you have to drag that artboard down. And you'll get this dotted line, which I'll just zoom into it. And that dotted line is showing you where the bottom of the screen is in the preview mode. Okay, so it's the fold. If you think about newspapers, right, that's where the newspaper gets folded. Have you guys ever heard the term above the fold, below the fold? Right, important news goes above the fold. Less important news goes below the fold. Same is true when you're working on like brochures or any kind of layout. You got to know where your folds are. The same thing. Got to know where the bottom of the screen is. So we just drag the artboard down until get there. So now if I go and I preview it, so it still loads the same like where that dotted line is, but now I can scroll down and it looks like my web page. But of course, my links and stuff don't work because it's an image, right? Okay, so now I have my artboard set up the way I want it. I can drag this, well, you can either leave it there or you can drag it off to the side. The reason I'm dragging it off to the side is I don't necessarily need this to be an artboard itself. I'm just using it for color and position. Okay, so you're going to rebuild this. Just again, grab my rectangle tool, just kind of lining it up. If you wanted, you could just pop this over here and then come over and lock the screenshot so you can't actually move it. Let's actually put it at the bottom though, my layers. So the rectangle's got some stuff. It's got opacity. It's got rounded corners, which are these little handles here. You can pull and drag them to make rounded corners, just like in Photoshop. You can also just set it. You can be like 50%. That gives you a 50% rounded corner. Fill and border, shadow, and then background blur. Background blur just uses the box and blurs whatever's behind it. It uses it as just like a blur layer. Okay, it's really nice and useful. Pretty handy. Take that border off. Grab my, oops, I'm gonna move it down. Grab my eyedropper, grab my color, move my box back up. Try to get it lined up right. Okay, ish, there we go. It's hard to tell. Okay, then let's see. So it's that one. I'm holding Option and dragging down to copy it. Again, these are standard options across Photoshop. It's okay if it comes out, if your stuff comes out to the side, because it will crop it whenever you click away, it does crop it. Okay, so if you're having an issue where like you're a pixel off from the edge, just pull it to the side, just pull it out, because the artboard will crop it. All right. What am I doing? There we go. The color. So this is kind of why I think I would lay it out, the image out to the side, just so it's easier to pick colors. Or you can just make a copy, I guess. I don't know. You do it however you want to do it. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna go really fast here. I'm holding Shift to constrain the movement along an axis, again, just like Photoshop. So I can only move it left and right, not up and down. If I let go of Shift, then press it again, now I can go up and down, not left and right. It's normal Photoshop stuff. Normal Adobe. I mean, that's pretty standard across Adobe's programs. Okay. Cool. All right, so I have all those done. If I come into my artboard, so you'll see that like I don't have anything clicked, so it just has the pasteboard, which is just this gray background, and then it has my artboard. All right. On my artboard, if I click into it, then I see all my rectangles in that screenshot. I want you to work in groups. Keep your stuff organized, just like in Photoshop and Illustrator. So I got a group. I can double click on the name, just call it background, colors, and then we're done. If you wanted to, you could use the groups to group content. So like this could be section 1, section 2. The thing to think about when you're doing this organization is, what would my HTML look like? Like, you know, when you wrote the actual code to make the page, it had a very specific structure, right? Those structures are akin to groups in Photoshop and Illustrator, so this is the same thing. So section 1, and you can move the orders around too. It doesn't matter like how they're stacked really right now. Oops. There we go. Section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll group all the text elements that I'm going to put on here in section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I also have some stuff up here. The only thing that's not in here yet, I don't think it is. No, there's no. Oh, there's a grid though. I'd really like guides. Like, there's no guides yet. It's unfortunate. It's kind of really unfortunate. You could probably make guides though. Pretty easy. Just draw some lines down and lock them. I'm just thinking in terms of like lining your stuff up so you get your margins like you want. Yeah, that might be the way to do it. Okay, so then with text, I'm gonna actually get rid of this image now. Okay. So I'm just gonna build my text next to it. Project 5, oops. Helvetica Neue, so remember which font you use. I think I had Open Sans and Italic. And then my size is probably, what, 16? Yeah. And then my color is just black. All right. So I built that right away. Actually, it's probably, is there an italic thin? There is a light italic. It's too light. Condensed light italic. Ooh, that's gross. All right, regular italic. All right, so there's that one. We'll just pull it over there for now. It's all open sans, so I'm just going to keep kind of making stuff. Does everyone sort of understand what I mean? What I want you to remake this site? I don't want you to sit here and watch me remake the entire site. Okay, all right. Let me do this last thing then. You can pull your font sizes. Oops, what did I do? That's line height. Nope, okay. Design. Oh, you could pull your font sizes straight from your code too if you wanted. There's nothing to keep you from doing that. So if you know how big this is supposed to be, relative, you can also just like drag it and make it. How big is it? I don't know. It's close. I don't have my code open, otherwise I would check, but this is pretty close. That's close enough for now. See, it shows me my margins, how close things are. Right. So you just need to essentially just line stuff up and do that. Now for your other artboards, just gonna hide this real quick. For your other artboards, depending on how much content is going to be on there, they need to be expansions of the different sections. Okay, so each of these different sections. You need at least 4, all right? So if you had 5 sections on your page, then you'll have, you got one that's sort of your main section that's just about that page, but then you would have like 4 projects, the stuff we worked on. Each of those projects needs its own page. All right, so you're just going to draw another artboard. You can click the artboard button. You'll see there's templates over here, or you can drag, just hold Option and drag the first artboard over. That'll copy everything that's there. I would label stuff. I don't know, project page, whatever. It may not be this tall, and it probably won't have these extra colors. You figure out how you want to design it and what you want to be on it. That, first, this would be like, series of 3. However you want to organize it and make it look. Consistency across design across the different pages is really important. So I would try to stay as consistent with your looks as possible. Sorry, I'm just moving these up. Again, I don't know, these sizes are going to change. That's the nice thing about them is you can make them bigger, move them around as often as you want. Nothing is set. Okay. All right. So there's those pages. All right, just move them. All right. Getting other content in here. If you have images that you want to put in here, you just drag them in. Just drag and drop them in. Okay. Make sure you are organizing everything like you should. So if I have a series of 3 image that I want to include in here, foundations, series of 3. Use your JPEGs. Oh, there's no JPEGs. I forgot. What is this one? Oh, okay, this works. Use JPEGs because they are compressed more. Although that's a gigantic JPEG. Try not to. Well, for XD it doesn't matter actually. Sorry, I was thinking for web. For XD it doesn't matter. It should work just fine. But smaller is going to be more efficient. So if this is my first one, if I just dragged it, I just dragged it until it was over the artboard, and it automatically gets added to that artboard. Think about that content column that you've got set up, right? So there's my image in that content column. If you want this image to be bigger, then you can rethink your design for each page. You don't have to stick with the same design you did for the first page. So now if I preview this, that's what that looks like. I can kind of scroll down a little bit. Maybe I'd be like, oh, well, I want the whole image to show up first. So let's make that top section a little smaller. And group that real quick. Move that up. Move that image up. Preview it again. Cool. It loads. It looks really nice. Right? And I can scroll down. This is all well and good. I've got my different pages. I'll add one more thing. Which collage is this? Hey. Let me export this real quick. Just go back and finish some of these. Check your billing info. Oh, okay. My card expired. That's still too big. Let's go like still gigantic. If you can get it under a meg, that's probably good. That's fine. As close as you can. All right. Don't see. Okay. Drop it in there. Add it to your artboard. Pull this over. All right, so I've got these pages, but how do I link between the different sections to these pages? Well, that's what the prototype mode is for. All right, so once you've got the design laid out, and actually you don't have to have the whole design laid out, but you will need things to link to. But you switch over to prototype. Nothing really changes other than that your option bar goes away. And what happens now is if you click on elements, you get these little blue rounded boxes with these white squares, and then I don't know if you can see it, but the icon on the mouse changes a little when you mouse over that. You get the little dotted loop thing, or not loop, but like a little squiggly line. That's a noodle. It's called a noodle. You just drag out where you want that section to go. Like, what do you want? Where do you want that section to attach to? Well, I want that section to go to this page. So it says, oh, okay. So the target, you get this nice drop down now. So the target is second page. How do we transition? Dissolve. Is there a transition? For web page, you don't need a transition. Like, how does it change from page to page? For thing to thing. If you're working on an app or something, then you would maybe worry about transitions a little bit more. But on a web page, it's just going to load. If you want to play with the transitions, you can. Like a slide left would be kind of interesting. Easing is just how that transition looks and feels, all right? And ease out means that it goes really slow when it first starts, and then it goes normal speed. And ease in. Have I talked to you guys about easing graphs in this class, animation graphs at all? No, okay. And ease in means that it goes kind of fast at the beginning, but then slows down at the end. Ease in and out would be fast at the beginning, slow at the beginning, really, really fast in the middle and slow at the end. And then none is just linear, so it's like constant change, okay? It's good to have easing because it feels better. An analogy I use is like, so easing out would be like, if you're in your car and you're driving from a stop sign, right? Like from a dead stop, easing out is you're going slow at first and then faster. Does that make sense? Is everyone tracking? So yeah, everyone gets that? All right, ease in would be like coming to a stop at a stop sign. So you're going fast and then you slow down, okay? Ease in and out would be like that full traffic stop thing. It's like coming to a stop, stopping, going fast, going out again. So it's sort of, or wait, that's not right. It would be, it'd be leaving the stop sign, getting up to speed, and then coming to a stop sign. That would be ease in and out. All right, and then linear would just be like traveling on the interstate. Constant speed for a certain length of time. Make sense? Yeah? All right. Okay, so yeah, so you're just gonna need to pull the noodles out to the pages. Tell it how you want it to transition. All right, but you do also need some way to get back to those other pages. So you'll want to incorporate something in here that will get you back. Although I don't think there's no back button. There should be a back button. So if I click there, it slid in. That was really nice. Yay, but I don't have a way to get back. Slid in. So you see how that works? It looks nice. Get a nice little interactive prototype. You could come in and like I don't know. So I come back to design and say let's use the pen tool. Let's make a little slid in from the left. Perceptually, it's going to want to look like this. It's a little big, but it's going to make a little button. It wants to be this gray. All right, let me copy this button. So this is where symbols come into play, but I don't particularly care if you make symbols. If you make one thing and you want to reuse it a lot, instead of like copy pasting it all the time, you can make it a symbol. So you can click on your symbols with the thing selected, click plus, and there's a symbol for you to use. So now I can come up here and just be like, oh, I want another one of these right there. Puts it pretty much in the same place. I want another one right there. Another one right there. That's not in the same place, but these are not lined up at all, but whatever. Okay, so then we come back to prototype and we say, I want you, so individual elements can have their own thing. I want you to come back to this artboard. Try not to drop it on like one of the elements in the artboard, just drop it on the artboard itself. And you know you have the artboard selected when this little tab over here is dark blue. Homepage, slide right, because we already did a slide left, so we need to make it look like it's going back the right way. Okay, so prototype it. Boom, 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 boom. Cool. Everyone gets it? All right, the rest is just filling it out and doing design. I mean, that's literally all you need to know for this project. Okay. So what I want for the project, rebuild your first page, the page you coded. Okay. Draw it out. And then for every section you have, you need to have a separate page, separate artboard that you can get to and get back from. And if you want to, you can link between all of them. So you could build like a little menu that is constant that you can then link from like this page to this page and then go from this page to this page, just like the internet works, right? So you have all sorts of different interconnections between your pages. If you ever have a question about like which pages are connected to which, you can come into prototype mode and just select everything and it will show you all of your connections. Okay? All right. Cool? Yeah.
Do you want text on the artboards?
Yep.
Yep.
On these extra pages?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It can be your write-up that you did.
Perfect.
Something descriptive. Let me know which project it is. Yeah.
How do you do like hovers and stuff that you have on?
Yeah, can't. Not yet. So for yours, where like it gets bigger and hovers and stuff, you're gonna have to think of a different way to do it for this design. Yeah, unfortunately, XD is a little more geared towards apps and touchscreens, prototyping for touchscreens, than it is really for web. So, the only thing I can think of would be, yeah, you could try dissolve. You could try having it be like on another artboard and just dissolving it, or having like, so say I wanted this image to get bigger. I could copy this whole artboard. So maybe this one starts off small, right? And then is big here. So I could copy this artboard and then come into prototype, grab this option and have it linked there. And then just have no transition. Or actually, a dissolve might look good, but then make it really fast. 0.2 seconds is, let's try 0.1. So that makes it get a little bigger. And then you just click it back, you know, so like you click on it again, it's not technically, it's not a hover at all, but it has the same effect that you were kind of looking for. It's, when you start doing stuff like that, it's smoke and mirrors, you know, you're kind of just tricking it. So if did anybody else do a lot of like pseudo classes, like hover states or anything? Did you have some hover stuff? Okay. If you're really, really like attached to the hover, I can help you try to figure out a way to replicate it, but it might be more trouble than it's worth.
We don't need to change our coding to match with this.
No, not at all, not at all. Nope. No, the coding portion is done. Like you turn in the coding portion, that's the first part of the assignment. This is just now the second part, the different phases. And really, when like you're doing web development or web design, there are so many different ways to approach it, to work on it. You know, if you're designing from scratch for the web, then this will be faster than sitting down and coding if coding is not your thing. Like for me, coding is faster because then I do have like a thing at the end that is almost the end product, and so I can thumbnail out a layout really quickly and then code it and be fine. But if I have like a client that says I need something in like an hour, then I would probably just go to XD and make a prototype, a really simple prototype, and say, boom. If I'm doing web development or app development, instead of trying to prototype in Xcode, which is what I usually do, I would come to this first because this is way faster than trying to use Xcode. It's more just like speed and does it look good, right? If you can do something fast and it looks good and it's going to impress a client, then yeah, use this by all means. Okay, there's different approaches, right? All right.